Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Sunday morning. With us today is a former speaker, the 50th Speaker of the United States of America, Newt Gingrich, and a good friend, smart guy, loves America. Well, Newt, where do we start on a Sunday morning?
Well, I have to start because I am in Bern, Switzerland with Callista, my wife, who is now the ambassador to Switzerland. And their big event is this entire next week, starting Monday, at Davos, Switzerland, called the World Economic Forum. They'll have about 3,000 people, including 60 heads of state. And President Trump is coming and bringing a large part of his cabinet. And I'm going to go and sort of write things on Substack that I write just because it's going to be a circus. I went twice when I was speaker, and it's now much, much bigger. And it's literally all these people from all over the planet in this really tiny town. And for about 4 days, Monday through Thursday, they're all talking to each other and making deals and talking about ideas. And then Friday, they gradually start to drift away. So from our standpoint, it's called the World Economic Forum, which is shortened to WEF. And people are describe themselves as refugees rather than refugees. And it just absorbs you. Trump will fly in to Zurich and then take the Marine One helicopter to Davos, which is about an hour and a half away by car. And it's this little bitty village, and once a year for a week, all these people show up. When I was there as speaker many years ago, I went to a dinner with a guy named Jeff Bezos, who was a totally unknown business guy, who was describing at dinner this idea about having an online bookstore. And that's how Amazon started. And
wow, you know him for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know him all that well, but I was really struck that night listening to him talk to about 30 of us. And he had this idea, so he, piled all of his stuff in his car, drove to Seattle, set up what he initially thought of as an online bookstore. And of course, it just kept growing and taking on more and more stuff. And nowadays it's gigantic. And we order things in Switzerland from Amazon, which is delivered through the Postal Service. So it's truly a worldwide company in a way that I suspect even Bezos, back when he started. And by the way, one of the great success stories, Bezos' business career begins at 16 when he goes to work for McDonald's. And that was his first real job, working at McDonald's.
Now, note you live part-time. Your wife is the ambassador to Switzerland. Give the American people the pulse of which way the Europeans are going. Are they now? I mean, they used to hate Trump. Do they hate him less? Do they believe in him? Give us that pulse.
I think it'd be more accurate to say that they see Trump sort of like having a giant rhinoceros in your backyard. It's not about hating or not hating. He's a force of nature. The United States is so big economically, and it's so big militarily that that it's a fact. And he, of course, is both amazingly energetic, and at the same time, he's you can't always predict what he's going to do next. And then every once in a while, he goes off and does something that nobody can explain. But he's a phenomenon. He's there. It's a fact. This Greenland story, for example, I do not believe, I could be totally wrong, I don't believe Trump's going to invade Greenland. I think he is making a lot of noise to set up a negotiation to get what he wants, which is tourist rights, economic rights, mineral rights, and national security rights, because he legitimately understands that you have, with China and Russia, growing interest in the Arctic. China has more icebreakers than any other country in the world because they see the Arctic Ocean as a much faster way to get products from China to Europe. So they have an economic interest. And then when you look at the minerals, the oil, the gas, the rare earth, all the minerals that are available in the Arctic, it's a huge economic opportunity. And all of this is coming together. And so, if you're the average European, you're thinking, we really need Trump against Russia. On the other hand, we really don't want Trump to steal Greenland from Denmark. And we really have to find some way to live with the American economy. And the last thing I say about that, that I think you'll understand as a businessman, the Europeans made a decision about 30 years ago that they would rely on regulation rather than innovation. And we made the opposite decision. We decided we wanted to maximize innovation and then regulate lightly, but not have enough regulation to crush what we were doing. That has been a disastrous decision for the Europeans. Of the 9 companies that are worth $1 trillion or more, 2 are Chinese, 7 are American, none, 0, are European. And the gap is widening. So the Europeans are faced with 3 or 4 really big crises. They have a crisis of Islamic immigration in countries that don't assimilate people very well. They have a crisis of the economy. They have a crisis that their biggest neighbor, Russia, is dangerously off track and could, in fact, be a real threat to them. And they have a crisis in that their American ally, who has historically been very stable, is now led by somebody who is very, very aggressive and who has a deliberate, obvious, determined effort to break up the old order and to move to a much more bilateral and much more American-centric model of how we deal with the economy and national security. So there are a lot of different things going on. Now, the underlying reality is Europeans like us. They know that we liberated them. They know that we protected them. And they know that in the long run, their future has to lie with the United States, not with China or Russia. So when I walk around, I don't get any anti-American feeling. I mean, I lived here as a graduate student during the Vietnam War, and there was real anti-American feeling. You don't get that sense today.
Understood. Newt Gingrich, thank you so much for coming on this Sunday morning, and I hope the Davos experience goes great. And I love the fact that your wife Callista is the ambassador to Switzerland. That's I guess that's the center of Europe.
Is Swiss, so she has a really deep personal interest, and she's just thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much, and let's talk again real soon.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.